Hello, dear viewers. We are happy to have you here on this program that focuses on both global and African football development. It's the Football Planet, and here are our top headlines. Well, we had an amazing CHAN 2018 playoffs, and right in Kinshasa, DRC was eliminated by its neighbors Republic of Congo of the Congo-Brazzaville. For results and scores to follow shortly. Having been installed for a third mandate as the Senegalese head of Football Federation, Augustin Senghor will be responding to our call over the recent tense elections in just a few minutes. And in Europe, two African football heroes, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Sadio Mane, set pace in their respective clubs. The Gabonese Aubameyang contributed to Borussia Dortmund's win in their opening game in Bundesliga, while the Senegalese Sadio Mane delivered the first victory to Liverpool this season on Saturday in Anfield. Welcome to Football Planet.
We
start this session with the African Championship, that is a CHAN 2018 last playoffs, pending Guinea-Senegal match this Tuesday. We already have a list of qualified countries, and to our surprise, supporters of the Leopards in the Democratic Republic of Congo, the DRC, were disappointed when their team did not make it after being eliminated by their neighbors, the Republic of Congo of the Congo-Brazzaville, on away goal advantage. Mali too was eliminated by Mauritania after a 1-0 defeat in Bamako. Mauritania had an aggregate of 2-0. Here is a list of qualified teams within the continent.
Voici le tableau complet des résultats et la liste des pays qualifiés.
And now, of course, we are now waiting anxiously to have this Tuesday a match between Guinea and Senegal in Conakry. And at the moment, victory is leaning towards the Lions of Teranga with 3-1 advantage. The match will be played in Dakar, Senegal, but one astonishing team is the absence of Gabon, who in a few months ago hosted the African Cup of Nations. Indeed, a scenario that has been termed as an absolute failure. This disappointment has caught up not only the national team players, but also the fans who are frustrated with the authorities. We have issues that have been raised concerning this failure. More details by Bridget Ugue and Razia Atman with our correspondent from Gabon, Gerard Wilfred Obangome.
Just months to the 5th edition of the African Nations Championships, Gabon has pulled out of the games, citing poor performance and condition of their players. The Ministry of Sports made the announcement in a press release, but some see it as an excuse for other reasons why Gabon is missing out on CHAN to be held in Nairobi. In Gabonese sports circles, lack of finances dominate the conversation. Never was a Gabonese national team unable to compete for lack of means. Why is this happening? Something we could have avoided. Have some decision makers simply decided to kill certain sports disciplines? Gabon national football team has put up dismal performances in previous games, being thrown out at group stages. The obligation of the results is to participate in the CHAN qualifiers. For example, a club that plays the championship to be able to gain it and to participate in an African competition. The latest FIFA rankings place the Panthers at number 86 in the world and 20th in Africa.
I've been reminded that the CHAN 2018 should be held in Kenya, and yes, it should be, since the uncertainty still prevails on the ability of the host country to complete its stadium before the scheduled period in less than 5 months. It is the same for the African Cup of Nations, at the center of a great misunderstanding between the Cameroonian authorities, or requires reassurance from CAF, who are now more skeptical. Organizers will decide in September whether or not Cameroon or Kenya will host the tournament. And if selected, countries will host CAF in the next schedule. As mentioned earlier, Mr. Augustin Senghor was re-elected to be the head of the Senegalese Football Federation for the third consecutive time, a third and last mandate on the outcome of an election that was opposed by two other candidates. And it was in the second round that he managed to win eventually. We will be updating you on the unfolding from the Senegalese football. Online we have Mr. Augustin. Thank you for responding to our call, Mr. Augustin Senghor. First of all, my first question, why have you decided to run for the third mandate as the head of Senegalese Federation?
This third time I decided to run for it because we had to work on the first two mandates on a vision, and we had to carry out quite a few achievements. Some allowed us to advance the overall level of our football, in particular the regularity of the competitions and at the local level, construction of infrastructure, stabilization of the federation, and especially on the international part, we made a lot of progress. Today, all the indicators are about to go green. The national team A has held well in recent years. Youth football is great too. Women's football has made a lot of progress, as well as the under-17s. So that's what we are doing today. We had the will to complete this work through a final mandate.
All these projects that you have just quoted are indeed great, but as in anything, there is need of priorities. Then, what are the priorities for this last mandate?
Look, the priorities are, first of all, the finances of the federation that will have to be improved because, as we know in football, finances are key. We seek to empower ourselves more through the state. Today, we have made progress at this level since the state is mainly involved in the infrastructure and management of the team. But the rest is almost 80% and it's managed by the federation. There is also construction site that is very important to us. It is the Technical Development Center where we are launching the construction of a federal hotel that will allow Team A to have its own center. We also plan to bring the national team to maturity, which would allow them to win the AFCON 2021. We also have the objective to qualify for the Russia 2018 World Cup.
You said earlier that the national team, the young people, are in the process of achieving good results even if they have not yet won major trophies. But this is not the case of the national team A. Elsewhere, your opponents to this election were hooked to it, asking you to leave. Will you consider your term as a failure if this term does not offer Senegal a continental cup?
Surely it would be a huge disappointment because today I say that all my energy and my will are focused on that, to win the first continental trophy or to make a return to the World Cup. This will be one of my goals for 4 years. I will fight for it and hope for success. With them, I hope to be able to set up a team that will allow my successor to do so on the understanding that under our objection, we were able to win the first continental trophy with the under-23 team. We have done it with the under-23s. It should be possible with Team A. We have the players for that. The players have been formatted and molded since 2012, and since then, it is the same players who have constituted the backbone of Team A. They are reinforced by the other generations who gained international experience earlier through the under-21 and the African Games. So today I think that the team is getting closer and closer to a level that would enable them to win.
Thank you very much, Mr. Augustin Senghor, President of the Senegalese Football Federation, after being re-elected for the third term in office for 4 years. and he actually dreamt to offer Senegalese at the African Cup of Nations before coming to office. It can of course count on a youth led by Sadio Mane in great shape at the beginning of this season with the Liverpool Football Club. Goal scorer during the first day of Premier League, the attacker Senegal has seen this weekend to be of great purpose. He has marked the sole purpose for the Reds during their victory against Crystal Palace on Saturday at Anfield. At the same time, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang launched this season with the Bundesliga on the same basis as the previous one. The Gabonese attacker playing for Borussia Dortmund has proved his tactics on his own on Saturday for their entry in the running championship. He registered the third goal for his team too, winning 3-0 at Wolfsburg. Also on the note was the first goal by Eric Bailly under Manchester United. The Ivorian defender opened the score at the wide victory by the Red Devils against Swansea on Saturday. This is the second victory for Manchester United this season. And also in other news, Mauritanian Football Club has set a nice pace across the continent in the recent months over their quest to be the African heroes. The team has made miles with the youth team, who are now becoming the future of the national team, and of course, their future remains bright indeed. The team has also gone through significant challenges, and especially after the first final on the COSAFA Cup, disputed by the national under-17 team. Ruth Lago and Elvis Bo with our correspondent Yasmin Mohabute with the details.
The Mauritius island is bent on taking its football to a higher level in the continent. A selection of under-17 players succeeded in reaching the recent final of the COSAFA Cup, although they did not win. The Mauritius under-17 team lost to Zambia 0-3 and considered this a major achievement for the island, which is not a household name in football. The plan of action was put in place. It started in primary schools. We have been doing a big job at the level of training centers. We created the competitions because they never existed. We are talking about competition for youngsters aged 13, 15 or 17. The level has kept increasing because of training, but competitive matches need to be played for us to move forward quickly. This continuous training has brought the Mauritius island to the limelight. The country's football federation says this is an encouraging sign. We are able to compete with major African teams, but a lot still remains to be done. Today, our senior national team has about 14 players who are less than 20 years, but who are evolving in the professional league. After the COSAFA Under-17 Cup, the quality of football in the Mauritius island will be tested during the Indian Ocean Island Games, which the peninsula prepares to host in 2 years. Another opportunity for the island to prove its worth.
That's what we had for this week. Stick to our channel for more updates, and also on our site www.africanews.com. You can give us your comments on our Twitter handle and Facebook page. Football Planet will be back next week, presented by Victor Mwisombinda. Same time, same channel, Africa News. Thank you and have an excellent week.